Hey everybody, welcome to the Dad Challenge podcast. My name's Josh. Today we're talking again about the Dougherty Dozen. I know that it seems like that's all I cover these days, but it is a big deal what's going on, and I'm not letting it go. Like I'm latching onto this because we have been talking about this for 2.5 years. The exploitation of children online and how bad it is. And this woman is literally the worst of them all. She takes all the worst attributes of everybody, piles it into her Cheeto eyebrows. Okay, it's bad, so we're not going to stop talking about it until she is called out sufficiently for what she has done to these children, and it's bad. Today we're talking about how this is going to affect her kids. I've had some people reach out to me. It's quite interesting, so let's get to it. So if you're new to the Dad Challenge podcast, I want to thank you for being here. We've had 150,000 subscribers. I am absolutely mind blown that we're there. I'm also scared because at 200,000 subscribers, I have to wear a yellow bikini and go down a slide and film it. So I didn't think I'd ever get there, so whatever. Anyway, but thank you for supporting this channel. One way you can do that is by buying me a coffee on Ko-Fi. The link's below. Or you can join the channel and get on the wheel of spin and win a prize, possibly. Also, you could head over to Patreon, or you could go to my merch store and pick up some merch. I've got some new merch coming soon. I promise it's going to be good. One of them is Get Wrecked. The other one is Grab a Yapple. But you wait. It's going to be fun. Anyway, thank you for being here. If you can't support in any of those ways, that is okay. Liking and subscribing and sharing these videos is a really, really great way to spend your social media currency, and I appreciate you. So let's go. First thing I want to talk about is how this affects the children. Now, I've had this video in my docket for a little while. It's Alicia talking about FASD and diet. Now, I'm starting here because really it all comes down to how these kids got here and how much we know about these children and how much she actually said before but has changed now and how it's affecting the kids. So, and it does tie in a little bit. So let's get to it here.
Hi everyone, I wanted to address the subject of diet.
I'd like to address the subject that there's so much headroom in this video. Bring it down a little, unless she's holding, a White Claw or something.
When it comes to children with fetal alcohol spectrum disorders and trauma history, we realized a couple of years into parenting our first child with these issues that he needed some major gut healing due to the early neglect and the fetal alcohol. His gut was his whole digestive system was not working.
It wasn't working, so what do? You feed them McDonald's for 24 hours a day, and you buy them whole tons of shit, and you make them pancakes and put icing sugar on them. And you literally every day, you're ordering pizza for a snack, or having McDonald's for a snack, or having this freaking Kona truck. Literally, the Kona truck is going to kill your children. Are you literally sitting here telling us that your child has problems with gut health? And then show us what you feed them? Because from what I've seen, you've never fed them a healthy meal ever once. Not that I've seen. Plus, the things that I have found out from my anonymous sources is going to blow your mind. Because she doesn't even actually feed them when she says she feeds them. That's what I'll say now. Not going to give it too much. I'm going to talk about this video that's going to come up. And you're going to get pissed because I'm not going to give it all away, but I'm going to give you some. So let's continue, shall we, on this. She's just about to get called out as a hypocrite because she's a damned liar.
To the best of its abilities. So what we did, and I will admit we went a little extreme with our first of 6 children that we've adopted with these disorders.
Not all of our kids are adopted, everybody. Also, I'd really like to know why she calls Deshawn and Nevea kinship placement. And maybe it is because there's no other way of saying it where you bring in friends' kids. Maybe that's just the way it's called. But kin it's called kin because kin is family. So I don't know if people realize that that's what that means. Kinship is specifically a fostering adoption of family members.
We eliminated gluten, dairy, eggs, soy. Then we finally went to soy. Basically an entire elimination diet.
Except every time you make anything right now, everything you just said you take out of their diet, you put in. It's literally all you feed your children is, again, unless they don't eat it, which could be.
Gave them maybe a year to heal their gut. Oh, and especially food dyes. Eliminate food dyes.
Eliminate food dyes, eh? The Kona truck is literally should just be called food dye on ice with sugar in it. That's what it should be called.
We gave them a good solid year to heal their gut and then slowly introduce things back in. At that point, you can kind of see if they're sensitive to something or not, and from there, make sure that that's out of their diet.
So are you telling me of the 10 kids that you have that, or 12, I don't know, that none of them have any food aversions? Because if that's the case, we don't see it, and everything that you cook is basically what most kids are allergic to. So I don't believe you at all, because you're telling me that after all that, none of your kids have any food aversions?
Find a lot of these kids have dairy sensitivities or lactate sensitivities.
That's the same thing. Okay. But then you buy 30 pounds of cheese. Okay. Got it.
Gluten, if they have a gluten sensitivity, and I remember I had a friend who told me this and I didn't believe her. If they have a gluten sensitivity, they will have behavior issues. They're linked together.
And all you feed your children is literally gluten. You might as well just open up a can of gluten and just feed that shit to them. All you feed your child is gluten.
Now, these sensitivities will not show up on skin prick tests or blood work, dietary tests. They won't show up. Because it's a sensitivity, it's not an actual allergy. So
it could be fake.
We did the elimination diet, slowly brought things back in. As we went on to our third, fourth, fifth, and sixth adopted child with these disorders, we kind of knew from there how to figure out what they were sensitive to and eliminate that from their diet.
So you're going to list off some stuff they're sensitive to, or are you not going to say that? Because, well, I think she won't tell you, because we can just look at the way that she feeds her children that there's no way that any of them do have food sensitivities, because she wouldn't feed them what she feeds them if that were the case. So either they do have food sensitivities and she doesn't want to tell you because she wants to buy them garbage, or they do and then she still feeds it to them, or they don't and she still feeds it. No matter what, she feeds them garbage.
Sugar. A lot of these kids are very sensitive to sugar.
You think kids are sensitive to sugar? Every kid is sensitive to sugar. In the last month of all the videos I've covered of her, okay, there's been like, 3 birthdays? There's been like 400 million pounds of sugar. You literally piled cups of icing sugar on pancakes, and then you put syrup on shit. You feed your children more sugar than I have ever seen in my entire life. I think that's what a lot of people are appalled by. The amount of sugar that you feed your children. The drinks, full of sugar. Okay? Even your yogurts, full of sugar. Everything you put in their lunch, sugar. White bread, full of sugar. It's all sugar. 6 loaves of pumpkin bread with chocolate chips, sugar. So, yeah, you think, but yet, look what you're doing.
That reminds me. Sugar and dairy and carbs, they
make up all that you feed your children. That's what she's going to say next, right?
Can create an addiction to.
The shit you say. Is she literally sitting here telling us all this while we can literally go watch anything she's ever cooked or shopped for or bought at restaurants? Look at Pam's ovaries. These kids have eaten so many of Pam's ovaries that they probably have diabetes just from them. You can't be serious right now, Alicia. You kept this video online, you idiot.
Because these children they were predisposed to addiction in utero.
Yes.
And basically for the rest of their life, they will always have to watch for things that they could be addicted to.
That's all you need to know about how shitty Alicia is. Right? What she just said. She's absolutely 100% right. And so what does she do? She literally creates addictions to sugar, to food, to shopping, to everything Alicia does. What What she just said there, she does the opposite. Everything that she does and is addictive. She is an addictive personality. She is an alcoholic, allegedly. Right? She drinks around these kids with FASD, okay? She feeds them nothing but pure sugar all the time. And if not, it's pasta, carbs, whatever. Those diets that those kids have, especially if they're predisposed to having addiction issues, they will have issues. She's not feeding her children a proper diet for kids who have FASD or addiction issues. Not whatsoever. Also, the shopping. The instant gratification, the dopamine hits of things that you want when you get them. That is addictive personality behaviors you should not be giving to your children. She is failing these kids so badly, and it is so scary. And it is only going to get worse, especially when the drinking starts. I promise you that. These kids need you to be a parent for them so that they don't cycle back into that generational trauma or that addiction or whatever the genetics is going on. They needed you to stop that cycle, and all you did was perpetuate it. That's the problem. You do not parent these children. And again, one more hint to the video coming, she doesn't. Spoiler alert, not at all.
And I'm not talking just food. I mean, it could be video games or drugs, cigarettes, alcohol.
And here you are with those children, buying them all their own televisions, their own gaming systems. They all have Nintendo Switches and iPads and PS5s and everything else, renting gaming trucks. Are you out of your mind? But why are you saying this right now? She's saying it to virtue signal. Like, I know all this stuff about these kids. Look at how much of the knowledge that I know. But then does the opposite. Are you hearing yourself, Alicia? Your kids are all addicted to either video games, sugar, or dopamine hits by shopping and things, getting things. You are a failure. Really,
anything that anybody can get addicted to, these children have more of a chance to become addicted to it.
This video is mind-blowing. So why do you do what you do then? If you know what you're saying right now and you believe it, and it's true what she is, and it is true what she is saying here. If you believe that, Alicia, why do you do the things that you do? What?
So, carbs, sugar, dairy, those things can become an addiction.
You just said that.
So we really limit sugar, we limit food dyes.
Do you?
I mean, not
food dyes
completely. You don't want to limit it completely. We learned the hard way.
Well, you didn't eliminate it at all. Actually, you give them more than most people on Earth get. So you didn't eliminate shit. You compounded it. That's all you give them. You don't give them anything healthy at all. All you give them is the shit that you just said that you shouldn't give them. What are you saying? How are you this obtuse?
They will find a way to get it. They will go to school. They will get it from their friends at lunch. They will find a way. So you can't be completely limited. I know some people who have...
Again, you are not limited whatsoever in any of it. Your whole mantra as a mom's like, whatever, it is what it is. I'm going to film Deshaun with a hickey. Deshaun just turned 13 3 hours ago and has a hickey on his neck. Pam's ovary, we'll talk about that in a second. I know we're going to get to that in a second. But like, she is just the type of parent. It's like, she is not a parent. She doesn't give a shit what her kids do. This woman is on her phone 24 hours a day. And we got the deleted scene where Josh is saying this.
What, you're recording? Fucking tell me that.
I'm recording.
Thanks.
Right? Everybody is getting sick of it. She does not spend any time with her children. And if she does, like the one-on-one Mondays, she films it. When I tell you what I found out, it's all going to come and hit you so hard what she is really, truly. There's no way she needs to have 10 children in her house because she can't parent any of them properly. She doesn't parent them.
Gone to a full bone broth diet, like that's it. We've never gone quite that extreme, only because
they're children and you don't do that to children. That's why.
We realized that they'll just go get what they want on their own. They'll go to camp and say, oh, they forgot to feed me breakfast, and then they'll get food.
Or you could be a parent and say, hey, my kid's on a special diet right now, camp. He's going to probably try to get food out of you. Here's the information that you need to help my kid succeed. Very simple answer. Call. But it's just one more explanation she doesn't want to give about how bad of a parent she is. She doesn't have the time to do that. She doesn't want to do it. Kids are going to be kids. That's an easy solution. Call the school, call the camp, call around. Make sure if your kid needs a specific diet for their health, that they get that. You're just passing off everything to them. You're allowing them to do whatever. You're like, well, they're going to do it anyway, so whatever. Let's just feed it to them myself. Kona truck for everybody.
Really need to make sure that everyone everywhere is on board with these dietary limitations. And school was a hard place for us to get them on board because it wasn't a listed allergy on their medical form.
So list it then, dumbass.
So for us to say we don't want our child to have gluten, they couldn't just say okay because it wasn't on the forms.
You're so stupid. Put it on the form. Second, you feed your kids only gluten. So what is she saying?
We had to have our doctor say we don't feed them gluten.
So have your doctor say it.
I think that's it. If you have any more questions, put it in the comments.
I'm sure there's
this helps.
It totally helps.
Thanks.
Didn't help. That didn't help. That was bad. You're bad. You suck. Terrible. Very bad. No good. Terrible. Okay, so she just talked about how the children all have FASD and have issues from like literally in vitro about having addiction issues, and then goes on to show us what she feeds her children all the time. 24-hour McDonald's challenges. And like that McDonald's challenge for Deshawn's birthday was crazy because since she did another one of Deshawn's birthday and it was basically cookies and pizza and everything else the second day. These kids have the worst diet I've ever seen in my life. And I'm fat. So I know. And I look at their life and it makes me feel ill. That's how crazy this is, okay? I grew up, this is like, the thing that really gets me is that, and I'm not trying to disparage poor people or whatever, but we all know that poor people eat bad because they can't afford good food, right? We can all agree on that. I grew up poor. I ate gross food growing up because it was the cheap food. That's the world that we live in. Alicia makes 8 figures a year plus. Okay, she does not need to feed her children bullshit. She could literally hire a full-time chef to cook amazing meals for, and like no problem with the amount of money she spends, and give her kids full-on amazing meals that they're gonna love, that are healthy and delicious. But she doesn't. She eats like poor people, and that's crazy because she doesn't need to. So it all stems from there. The next thing that really starts to get you is why is she deleting videos like this one that we're about to watch? So she's cleaning Deshawn's room. I need you to hear this because it's gonna, and I want you to listen, really listen to what she says. Also, she cleans her kids' rooms on camera. She doesn't do it every day, and she does it to say, look how amazing I am. Also, she's probably snooping through their shit. I need you to look too. They have a PS5 in their room, or PS4, I don't know which one it is. These kids don't even, like, they have unfettered access to the internet and video games in their room. They don't have any boundaries whatsoever. None. They all have their own TVs and everything and their own headphones. They all spend their own time there, and their parents do not monitor anything that they do. Watch this.
These aren't even our shoes.
I'm not a body analyst or whatever you call it, like a body language analyst. But now that I know what's going on with these shoes, and I'll tell you the story. We'll go back to it. So Pam's Ovaries reached out to me. I reached out to her on Facebook, and I'm not going to show you our conversation, but basically it was, I'm asking her, this is why what Alicia does is dangerous. I said, and I was showing the picture of the hickey, and I said, your daughter is now in conversation on snark threads with thousands of people. Is this what you're okay with? And then she would respond, the truth behind the shoes under the bed. My daughter's boyfriend could not find his shoes when he was leaving our house. They stay in the family room, and it sucks I have to justify that, she says. Okay, so if they're staying in the family room, why did he lose his shoes? I don't believe you. So he can put her teal colored Crocs on, and they were too small for him. We laughed about it. He wore them home, and we later found his Crocs on the deck. So here's what you're saying. They didn't fit him, but he wore them anyway. That's odd. Shoes that don't fit, you can wear them? How'd you wear them home if they don't fit? So she basically said, the Doughertys are respected members of our community. Their kids are awesome, polite, and kind. They don't get that way by accident. And so I wanted to show you that. So Alicia probably knew this. So now that you know where the shoes came from, if you believe Pam's Ovaries, okay, if you believe her, let's just say we believe her, okay? But I don't really believe her because how's a 12-year-old just freshly turned 13 showing up with hickeys on their neck? right? Probably doing it at her house, not at Pam's house. So maybe Pam does have boundaries. But I put this out on Reddit and I said, hey, isn't this just normal behavior for 13-year-olds? Not my 13-year-old. That would never happen. Like no. But I'm like, it kind of isn't. It is. I don't know. When I was growing up, it was sort of normal behavior. But it's the general consensus is that it's not normal behavior for 12, 13-year-old kids to be showing up with hickeys, to be making out, to be doing the things that they're doing. Because that just means that Alicia and Josh actually aren't parenting their children. They're not monitoring anything they're doing. Not happening. But kids will be kids, and that is what it is. The hickey is inappropriate, and Alicia showed it and then deleted the video, which I have, and we're going to break that down in another video coming up because I have the whole video. It's a very, very interesting video. So now that you know that, watch Alicia's reaction when she picks up the shoes. Watch the overacting. Really pay attention to what she does here.
Clothes under this bed.
Watch.
These aren't even our shoes.
Sorry. Like I've seen enough of her videos to know that she's acting right here. And acting really badly. So she picks them up. She's like, first of all, she's not under the bed. They're at the end of the bed. And she looks at it and watch it again. She's under the bed. She's not looking at the shoes yet. She sees them at the end. She's under the bed. Then looks over at the shoes. Right there.
These aren't even our shoes.
And how do you know? Your kids have 400 pairs of shoes. How do you know they're not? They look like shoes your kids would wear. But basically picks up and she goes, these aren't even our shoes. And that right there is why it's so dangerous what she's doing. She knew whose shoes those were. She showed you whose shoes they were in her son's bedroom. Her son's girlfriend, who at the time they were 12, are in his room alone. She knows this is going to get her the hit she wants to get. She knows that. Putting the video of him with a hickey on his neck, she knows that's going to get hits. She is very deliberate in what she does. None of this is a mistake. In the Deshaun's deleted birthday video, which I'll do another day, Josh says the thing. He gets super upset. But there's a cut before that. But why did she leave that in? It's deliberate. Now, if you want to get, if you want to be a provocateur on YouTube like Trisha Paytas and all these people, fine. But not at the expense of your children. Because now Pam Overy's child is literally being discussed on Snark threads about being an SLUT or this is super inappropriate for children. Conversations you shouldn't be having about children. But that's nobody's fault but Alicia's, right? She has put these kids into the sphere without their consent. This is why informed consent is so important. It's why you'll never get it from teenagers or kids. You're never going to get it. Because they don't know what's going to happen. They don't know now that his girlfriend is being talked about on the internet. She's 12. Okay? And Alicia, what she just did there should disgust the living shit out of you.
Those must be Marissa's shoes.
Boom. Those must be Marissa's. I hope people talk about the fact that my son and my underage son and his girlfriend in the room alone. I hope they talk about it. That's what she's waiting for. She's expecting it. That's the only reason she's doing what she's doing right now. That should piss you off. That should make you angry. She's such a scumbag. You should be ashamed of yourself, Alicia, for what you are doing. So the Deshaun videos that have anything to do with Marissa have now been eliminated. The birthday video where they're talking about, this one I think was deleted. No, this one's still up. The birthday video with the hickey, gone. Right? Anything that has to do with kind of this girl in this world, gone. Alicia also did a video where she's like, look at Deshaun getting his birthday presents. He's so happy about it. I'll have to show it to you. Celebration Deshaun's birthday.
Our 12 kids, and here's what we did. We had a 24-hour marathon of eating only McDonald's.
It's not 24 hours either. 24 hours would be you woke up, ate McDonald's at 7 a.m., and then you woke up the next day and ate McDonald's at 7 a.m. So it's not. It's 12 hours. Here comes the cast fries and all the shit that fell on the floor. Oh, this one fell on the floor. So, opens his present, which includes 6 tech outfits.
Air Jordan 5 Retros, AirPod Pros, and an Apple Watch.
Right here. Obviously his face blanked out, but he's so happy. She's showing him being happy. But what she refuses to say is what he's super happy about, which is the gift to the Bills game that Pam's ovaries bought him. Okay? She didn't say he got a game. Something is amiss. Something. And the fact that we talk about it on here is all Alicia's fault. This is she wanted this and she got it. And you know who doesn't get to consent to this? The kids. They don't. Their life is on the internet now for us to all pick apart. But I'm not picking it apart to disparage the children, because these kids are amazing and I hope they do well and I hope they thrive. But Nevaeh and Deshawn aren't even her children. They are in a kinship. They aren't even there permanently. And there is videos of her talking about, and it's another video I have to do, okay, but her talking about this situation and how her mom would sell her things and all that, giving away information. These kids aren't adopted by her. She isn't their mother by legal or any other way, but yet she'll still tell their stories online and disparage their bio parents. It is nuts, okay? So this is why this is so bad. Because then after this, she shows the Deshawn Hickey that she's deleted. So something is telling me that either Pam's ovaries is probably telling her take those videos down, or Deshawn and his girlfriend have already broken up, or whatever the case may be. It all sucks. The kids are always the losers in this, because these kids are putting their relationship online for millions of people. I'm saying millions of people to see. And when it goes south for them, that girl might become a target for their fans, because their fans are young. Right? What happens if Marissa breaks up with Deshawn or whatever, something happens, and then she becomes a target? What happens then? Whose fault is it? It's Alicia's fault. Okay. Now we're going to talk about Alex. And if you've never gone to Alex's TikTok, go ahead and look at it if you really want to. He gets literally bullied all day, every day. Now, I've had people reach out to me who know him, who says, and it's always one of two things. Alex is a kid who knows that he's famous on the internet and absolutely capitalizes on it. And Alex gets bullied and targeted at school all the time. But he's a big boy. Probably not anybody's going to mess with him, right? But that's not Alex's fault, everybody. Alex is a product of what he's become because of Alicia. Okay? He is one that helps around the house. That's what I see. He seems to be the only one that really helps around the house, to be honest with you. He seems like a peacemaker inside the home. And he seems like a kid that a lot of the kids go to. Okay, so I honestly believe that Alex is a good kid. He's got a lot of good in him, but Alicia's not allowing him to thrive in the way he should be able to thrive. Also, she's made him a target. Remember when they went to New York and he had to be escorted home by the police because he got targeted and he got jumped? That's exactly what's happening. So this is what the student reached out to me and said. Hi, I love watching your videos of the Dougherty Dozen. I am from upstate New York as well, and I'm a senior in high school in Rochester, New York, the same city that they are in. I go to a neighboring private school that is in the same class section for sports in the Dougherty school. In your latest video, you mentioned about the TikToks that make fun of Alex. There are so many of them, and he has become the laughing, going joke within the football program for Section V Class AA. Multiple kids from different schools make jokes about wanting to hurt him purposely in games against him and how they want to target him. Videos of him and his girlfriend have been leaked throughout Rochester, which I even have ended up receiving. I don't know what she means by videos. I didn't ask. Again, if that is what we all think it is, if those are inappropriate videos, that shit is going to get real dangerous for him and his girlfriend. I have Alex on Snapchat, and he truly is a nice kid. I also have met Alicia and the other kids at a game against our school about 2 to 3 weeks ago when they actually posted a Friday vlog while she was at it. I can tell you truthfully, being one of Alex's peers in the same town and even going to a different school, that his mom is ruining his life. His name at my school gets brought up in almost every single class. The bullying with Alex is most definitely not just online, but has spread to a whole entire joke throughout the Rochester and Monroe County. When the daughters came to my school 2 weeks ago for a tennis match, all the girls in my grade took pictures with them like they were celebrities. They get noticed in public, and people talk about waiting outside the local Wegmans they go to in the morning to see them, or following their van home from football games. The information she has given about the family is very public to everyone on the internet, but in the surrounding town has completely made her children a target. I said, well, may I use this information if I keep you anonymous? And she said, yes, of course. So I asked, is he basically a target? Yes, everyone knows who he is, and he has become the laughing stock in the city. We live in Rochester, New York, and then there are about 15 suburbs in Rochester, which they live in one of them. But all of them are connected through sports, and it's a small city, so everyone knows everyone. And now Alex is known in this horrible light. I need to know, is it jealousy, or is it because Alex is, peacocking around that he's a social media influencer? Again, not his fault if he is. He's not really cocky, and I don't think people are really jealous of him. They all just think like him, and his family are really weird and take it out on him. I said, thank you. So right now what you're seeing is the product of putting your kids online. Alex is literally being targeted by about 15 other football teams that he plays against. They're trying to hurt him. And Alex is wearing a cast right now. And I don't know how he got hurt. I'm just saying, I'm just throwing it out there. If Alex is being targeted for violence, that is really, really scary. And I've been talking about this on my channel. What is it going to take for people to wake up and stop exploiting children online? Where the laws are going to be made? Is Alex going to have to be targeted by somebody and hurt really badly? Like he was almost hurt and jumped at this party he was at in New York? What is it going to take for Alicia to take seriously her children and their security? Right? She took her daughters to the Comic-Con and had security there. There was 7 people there. Okay? Are her kids going to need to go to school now with security? What are you going to do? So this is getting really, really, really scary. And that's Alex, the oldest. All these other kids are going to come up through that system as well. And if she continues to make them famous, they're going to have to live like this or not go to school. So many kids either have to go to private school. So many kids who are famous Instagram influencers, like kidfluencers, they have to go to either private school with a bunch of other rich kids, or they don't go to school at all because it's dangerous for them. But no parent wants to talk about how dangerous it is. Right now, I've given you definitive proof from somebody that lives in her town that her kids are being targeted for violence. Right there is all you need to know about how bad she is and how little she cares about her children. When I drop this video that I'm compiling right now with my back-end sources, okay, it is going to obviously affirm everything that we believe about Alicia, but it's way worse than you actually think. I'm talking, remember Micah with H and the duct taped thumb and all that stuff? Like I'm talking levels that are going to blow your mind and it's going to piss you off and it's going to blow this shit wide open. Alicia has a manager, okay? And this manager, I can't tell you. I'm not going to tell you. I'll wait till I have it all. And I'm also reaching out to Life 360 for their comment on what it's going to take. Why do you like Life 360 gives them lots of money, and I'll talk about this in the video coming up too. Like I'm talking tens of thousands a month. Life 360 talks about child safety. It's basically their whole platform, one of the biggest apps for child safety and tracking. And yet they will use exploited kids to advertise their products. So do me a favor, head over to Life 360 and ask them why they're okay with using exploited children for advertising revenue. Why are they okay with paying these parents tens of thousands of dollars to advertise child safety by putting children at risk inadvertently? Go ahead and ask them for me. I'm waiting for a comment. I doubt they'll give me one. So anyway, today's video is really about the danger that these children are in, and it's only going to get worse. The bigger you get, Alicia, the harder your kids are going to fall. Not you, your kids. When your kid goes to school and they're like, yeah, your socks had holes in them and they look like you stepped in dog shit, they're going to make fun of your children for that. Okay? Oh, you wear diapers? They're going to make fun of your kids for wearing diapers. Oh, if you go to Alex's TikTok, it's literally about snackerty boards. They make fun of this kid for snackerty boards. That's literally what they make fun of. They make fun of their diets and everything else. It is my opinion, and because I was a large child growing up, okay, that Alex might be struggling with eating, and he's lost a lot of weight. Maybe it's just growth, maybe it's sports, whatever it is. But you can't ignore it, and the question might have to be asked: is he being relentlessly bullied to the point where he's just not eating anymore because he doesn't want to be that guy? Because there is a TikTok out there that makes fun of these children in so many ways that will disgust you. I'm not even going to show you. I'm not even going to tell their name. It doesn't deserve to be shown. But I'm telling you, all of this stems to what Alicia is doing with the exploitation, where she's trying to one-up herself in every single way, whether that be feeding them absolute and utter garbage, whether that be, doing things provocatively so that she gets comments like, oh, look at my 12-year-old look at my 12-year-old girlfriend's shoes are in his room, right? All of these things are planned, and she doesn't seem to care how it affects her children, and she should, and she's an asshole. But you're not. Take a deep breath. You're the opposite of an asshole. You're like cotton candy hole. Stupid. Anyway, guys, thanks for being here. Thanks for being interested in this topic. We are not letting it go. It is only after today's conversation, I could literally do a Dougherty Dozen video for the rest of my life until they're off this channel. There's so much to talk about. It's the deepest wormhole I've ever been in my life. And it's only getting crazier. So I hope you stick around for it. If it's getting too much, though, I'll listen. Guys, I will listen. I understand. But It does seem like, oh, you're so obsessed, Josh, but at the same time, yeah, I'm obsessed with protecting children. So I think that's a good obsession. I think that's why you're here too, and I really appreciate you being here, spreading my voice, being a part of this conversation with me. It's getting crazy. Let's continue to do it. Let's get these kids off the internet. Let's lobby these platforms and the government to change the rules and the laws before someone actually gets hurt. You are amazing, incredible, and valuable. Don't you ever forget it. Don't fly flare, and I will see you tomorrow.